Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead, Chuck. Take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the weekly long-running podcast, Rates and Lanes, with your host, Rico Muhammad. I'm his co-host, Chuck Snow, and thank you for joining us this evening. Hi,
Well,
Rico.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is doing well out there. We are pre-recording tonight's show as I'm going to be driving, but we are recording on Tuesday, so all the information that we share with you this evening will be current. So you don't have that to worry about. If you guys, ladies and gentlemen, would do us a huge favor, it helps us out tremendously. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe to the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the show. Help us spread the word. We're trying to actually put some good information out here, not a whole lot of fluff, not a whole lot of, in the day and age of content creation, you got a lot of people out there that just putting anything out there just for clicks and likes and whatever. And we pride ourselves on trying to make sure that we bring you real, tangible, actionable information so that you can put more tools in your on maintaining a good business model. I got some stuff that I wanted to get out. I wanted to jump into. I'm going to attempt to do this. My picture may go away, but I'm going to read some stuff off. It will still be live, but my picture may go away. Let me see if I can.
Everybody knows what Rico looks like.
Okay, so can you still
go ahead?
Over quickly the current fuel index for the week. We're showing that the national average for diesel fuel is still sitting at $3.75 on average for the United States. There was no change in the price of diesel fuel over the previous week. We are showing that right now on the national spot market, the average rate for dry vans shows that it went 6 cents higher than it was last week, showing an average spot market rate of $2.11 for dry vans. We're showing an average rate 55 cents for flatbeds, which is a 5 cents higher than it was. And along those lines, also we going into the reefers. Reefers are showing an average on the spot market averaging $2.49 per mile. That was the same time last. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will kind of like the as far as information that you need to know about. And I'm getting a story here. I don't know if you heard about this one, Chuck. California carrier closes doors, terminates 100 employees.
Well, there's been a lot of that lately, and I think that's why all of a sudden we're starting to finally see an increase in freight rates.
Yeah, it says here, reading from Freight Waves, San Diego trucking company Epic Lightning Fast Services, LLC, will permanently close its doors and lay off 116 employees at the end of the month. The carrier filed a warn notice in California on September 1st, 2025, notifying employees that the company would shut down on October 31st, 2025. Epic Lightning Fast Services said in its letter addresses to the state's WARN Act coordinator that 8 dispatchers, 3 administrative assistants, and 105 delivery associates would be let go at the end of the month. The carrier hauled interstate general freight and operated 59 power units, according to Safer, and its closure follows Fresno, California carrier TGS Transportation, which shut down operations at the end of July after 40 years in the transportation business. Song that we hear on the show for
wow. Well, it's no surprise. People aren't making money, and and you reach a point where you just go, I can't carry on bleeding anymore.
Right, right, and it's tough because if the if bigger carriers are having these problems, it's the smaller carriers are also, but the benefit that the smaller carrier has is that they're able to kind of be a little bit more nimble and kind of change
100%.
directions a lot quicker and maybe hopefully can get ahead of some things before they get too far gone. I know it's one of the things that we have to keep in mind during these tough times is that if you manage it, you may not be making the money that you want to make, or you may not be making the money that you were accustomed to making. But as long as you can still keep the doors open and have some kind of profitability, you are successful. I think that's something that definitely just some words of encouragement to my fellow truckers out there, fellow carriers out there in the industry. Right, like I said, right now we are still experiencing a very tough time, but I do believe that if we can make it through this tough period, there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. The thing of that is being.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if anybody got into this business because of the rates they saw during the COVID period, and you're expecting it to go back to where it was, then you should probably get out right now, because that ain't happening. I don't think it'll ever happen. We waited a lifetime for that, and it was a good 18 or 20 months, however long it lasted. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, we're back. I think we're heading back into a realistic economy, though, for trucking, anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be much interesting to see how things continue to develop. There's still a ton of fallout from the non-domicile CDL. You're starting to see more and more states that are, I guess you would say, coming into compliance with the law.
They're clamping down. Yeah, I was just reading. Yeah, New Mexico has just joined the bandwagon. One by one, they're all falling in line because they realize that there's been some problems.
Yes.
But we shouldn't get those problems. One of the things that I'm afraid is happening is some of these problems are being identified as other problems. And the problem is not drivers that come from other countries that are born in India, Pakistan, Southeast Asia, wherever, Africa, Persian Gulf, it doesn't matter. If they are allowed to drive, if they are, if they're a licensed driver, if they're a trained driver, and they have a green card or whatever they need to do their job, they shouldn't be harassed. There's an awful lot of that out there, which I don't like.
Yeah,
for all of us.
It's showing some of the soft white underbelly of what that rule is intended to do for safety, but you're getting a lot of, for lack of a better term, it's also been kind of a dog whistle for some people that have other agendas when it comes to race relations in this country.
I agree. Yeah.
Also in the news, we showing here that ATS Logistics is to acquire Trailer Bridge's broker unit.
Whoa.
So there's a full service third-party logistics provider, ATS Logistics Services, announced today that it will acquire Bridge Division Bridge. It will be a Jacksonville, Florida-based Trailer Bridge freight bridge services, including logistics offices in North Carolina, Texas, Kansas. Financial disclosure. By combining the strength of both organizations, we will extend capacity broad and ensure shippers with the support need into logistics and truck services. So there's some mergers and acquisitions out there in the well.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see more, only because that's how some of these companies are going to survive, is they're going to be able to merge overheads and cut bodies, unfortunately. But that's the only way they're going to survive.
And see, and here is another story that kind of.
Oh, we lost Rico. Hopefully he comes back soon. Yeah, it's tough times, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm glad that our listeners are hanging in there, and hopefully you're profitable and continuing to be profitable. It's certainly a difficult time, and we've never seen times quite as rough as they are right now. Not our generation. And the other day was 51 years since I entered the industry. So we've had lots of tough times. We had a lot more recessions. They were certainly more frequent than what the younger generation has seen. This is our first one here in Canada anyways. I can't speak for the US. I don't believe they're in a recession yet, but there's certainly some talk I heard today about the way things are trending, and it had to do with the conversation between President Trump and Prime Minister Carney on the tariff. Oh, there's Rico. You're welcome back. You got to get your sound up, Rico. Hang on. I'm going to just let Rico know we can't hear you. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good.
All right, I think I figured it out. I'm not sure what the heck just happened.
Technology is wonderful till it's not.
It's great when it works, huh? Also, kind of another story that ties into stuff we've been talking about. Capacity. Another article coming faster in September.
Rico, you're breaking up pretty badly here. Can you maybe speak a little slower, or I don't know, there's something, the sound is very unclear. I could barely hear that one.
Yeah, my connection seems to be a little choppy.
Okay, that's better, whatever you just did.
Yeah, my connection seems to be just a little bit choppy.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. Well,
but the article says it grew faster than pricing again in September. According to Logistics Managers Index shows that cost inflation slowing across the supply chain. Transportation capacity grew again faster than pricing in September, according to a monthly survey of supply chain professionals. The Logistics Managers Index, a diffusion index in which reading above 50 indicates expansion, while below 50 signals contraction. And we did a 55.1 reading on the latest survey. Point decline from August, but still represents faster growth rate than transportation pricing index at 54.2. So we have some slight increase in the pricing, but we still have a capacity issue to kind of unpack it all the way. We still have a glut of capacity, even though we are starting to see some effects of all the different things coming down the pipeline from the non-domiciled CDL drivers and people going out of business. We still have much more capacity out there, which is causing the major driver behind the rates right now.
Right. And, as the big guys sell off their trucks and the little guys, and some of these people, the trucks get sold or they get put on the repo line, whatever, it's not taking the trucks out of the system. Somebody else is grabbing those trucks and they're putting them right back in. So when some of these carriers go out of business, it's not helping in a lot of cases unless it's an old truck that's being taken off the road and it's not going to be in the market anymore. It's being replaced by one of those trucks.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you're back.
Okay, good. I don't know that. Usually, I have pretty good signal here. I'm surprised I'm having these issues, but nonetheless, that's the biggest issue that we still have to, for small guys. We got to try to carve out our little niche. We got to run our lanes, figure out our lanes, figure out how we can service them better than anybody else, and just deliver value. Try to continue to deliver outstanding value if you possibly can, and that's whether you're dealing with direct shippers. You're a really good broker that has some really good freight and can develop and cultivate that relationship. That's going to be the bee's knees right there, ladies and gentlemen.
We've been saying that all along, and it's when we go out into areas where we don't know, that's when we get in trouble. We get burned by bad brokers, we get bad information, all sorts of things happen. You get into those places that you suffered a couple of weeks ago when you went into some place to unload that took hours and hours and hours for something that should have just taken probably a half hour. It took you the better part of a day because you're not familiar with it. And that's why, I have a friend of mine who keeps telling me, he's retired from the business, and his business was hauling alcohol. That's all he did. And he always says, niches make riches. And it's so true. And you just got to figure a niche in the industry, in the market, and work that niche. Forget about it. With one truck or even 10 trucks, you can't be a servant to everybody.
Right. And Chuck, I'm curious. I hadn't in a little while, but how's the collection going?
You know what? It's going great. I'm up to 11 trucks, and I'm out of room now.
Uh-oh.
I am going to sell a couple of them because I've got a couple of duplicates here. So anybody out there wants a F model Mac or a B model, let me know. We'll talk.
So what are you? Let me pick your brain for a second when this comes to this collection. I'm going to kind of really discuss this portion of it on the show. When you get into collecting trucks, like that, specific that you look that you're going for, I'm curious to know. Is it kind of like car collecting? I know some car guys.
Yeah, no, you know what? First of all, it pretty much has to be Mac, except for one Ford that I have, only because I love those old Ford cabovers, the C8000 that was so ubiquitous throughout North America. Every pop company used them. If you remember, every delivery company, Roadway had thousands of them. Those orange trucks and orange and blue trucks.
And blue, back in the day.
A lot of guys I know started driving in them, and one of my first truck rides ever was in one of those trucks. I always loved them, so I bought one of those. But other than that, I pretty much stuck to Mac. I was supposed to buy a Marmon, and I was all set to buy it, although I'm not a Marmon collector, but I do realize the value. And then I saw this one Mac Superliner that just totally got my attention. But getting back to your question, it's got to be a Mac from early 50s to late 80s. That's what I'm looking for. Anything that fits in there that's a road tractor. I don't want some of this stuff that's beyond. It's beefed way up. Like I bought one of my trucks was originally a tow truck, and I made a deal with, and it pulled. I'm just waiting to get it back. I've had some issues with this truck. It's got a Mack V8, and it once pulled a Cat D9 dozer out of the Hudson River. I bought it down in New York State. And anyways, that truck is it's an R700, very similar to the one used in the movie Convoy, and I did name it Rubber Duck for the movie, which isn't very original, but it suited it, and it does not have a sleeper, and it's pretty basic, but man, that's a good looking truck and runs like a top. I just had I was bringing it home from the shop after getting some work done on it. It was all over the road, and I knew damn well I'm not a mechanic. I don't profess to be, but I just knew it was Kingpins. I took it back, and sure enough, it was Kingpins. So we just replaced those. They didn't show up when they checked them. They didn't show up until they really took a good look, and it was the Kingpins on it. But that's the sort of stuff I collect. And one day, maybe I can go through when we have more time. What I'll do is I'll take my computer here, I'll do it on my phone, and I'll go through all the 11 trucks with our listeners, and they can see what we have here.
Yeah, we definitely gotta get see if we can get a backstage pass view and see what's going on with the collection. So
Rico, I retired to do this. Now that I haven't left, I'm not going back to work either.
The real question, what does the wife think about running out of space? And are you going to try to expand some
more?
Well,
you know what? That thought has gone across, has come across before, that I may have to put up another building in time. I have lots of room here. I've got a large piece of land here, and I'm in a jurisdiction where the shop is, where they're pretty reasonable, not like at our home farm. So I could put up another shop. I just have to wait till I make some money. It's always the money thing, and my wife says I can't have any more of my spending money ahead of time.
Well, there you go. The true boss has spoken. You gotta keep it in line there. So but you've pretty much acquired most of the stuff that you really wanted to add to your collection, right?
Yeah, I have pretty much one of each of everything that I wanted. There's a Mack cab over that I don't have, which I never really liked anyway, so I don't have one of those, but there may be one coming in the future. You never know once I sell the other two.
And you actually get out and drive these things.
I get, you know what? I only have about 5 of them that are licensed and insured. And I found out I can insure and buy a temporary 10-day permit. So I can buy full-time insurance, which isn't expensive for antiques, but I can buy a permit that allows me to drive it for 10 days. So I can do that twice in a season. So I don't have enough days to drive all these trucks. That's part of my issue. There just isn't enough days during I just don't have the time, to be honest.
But it's a true pursuit of passion. So what is it about the Macks that made you want to go in that direction? Is just the history and the heritage of the Mack brand, or?
My first truck was a Mack, and I just like the brand. Not so much now because it doesn't really exist. No offense to Mack, but it's a Volvo. But Mack did, Mack is probably, and I know some of our listeners will, some of them may even turn us off when I say this, but Mack is probably the most iconic brand of truck there is. It's a truck that I don't know very many guys that have Volvo tattooed on their arm. But I've met all sorts of characters.
Well, I mean, it's in the lingo lexicon. Built like a Mack truck. It kind of speaks for itself. So yeah.
Exactly. Did you ever hear of a truck driver say, "Oh, it's built like it's built like a," no offense to Volvo, but built like a Volvo, built like a Peterbilt. It's good, or built like a Freightliner. Come on, Right. And I have to laugh, I have trucks here. My oldest one in the fleet is Merlot. It's a 1954 L model Mack, and it still runs up and down the road today. It's 71 years old, Now, do you think in 2000, well, hold on, it's 2076, that you're going to see a 2025? I'm sorry, 2096. You're going to see a 2025 truck, even at shows? I doubt it.
Right.
These things are built. And the guy that I bought the truck from, he was in California in wine country in Hillsburg. He drove it to Springfield, Illinois 3 years ago. I actually saw the truck there, but I don't remember it. Yeah, with a trailer.
From
Okay, so
California?
this thing, yes, and he put another one on the trailer. So this thing can still pull.
Man, that's impressive.
Yeah. So that's pretty impressive.
Man.
I don't think you're going to see a 2096 out there in 71 years from now, or 2025.
I'd love to know its fuel mileage.
Well, that's another thing. This is really funny. Most of them get around 5 or 6 miles a gallon, even bobtailing, except that little Ford that I have with a cat engine in it and 3208. I get 19 miles to the US gallon in that thing.
Okay.
And that one belonged to the first indigenous US senator, Senator Ignacio from Colorado. He had bought it from Coca-Cola, or Coca-Cola had it first. It's a 76 Ford. And he had a body off restoration done on it and pulled his RV with it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he passed away, and somehow I got it.
I don't even think I've seen pictures of that one.
Well, I'll send you some after the. I took that one to the ATHS show. It'll be a year and a half ago down in York, Pennsylvania, and I think it was the only Ford 8000. No, there was one. My friend Ben Miller, he had one as well. Our two are the only two in there.
Man, that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we definitely got to get a behind the scenes tour and see what all you got back there in the shop in the barn back there.
Yeah, every one of these trucks has a story. I've got one that I'm selling I think it's a 65 B model that was only driven by one man from the time it was new.
Man.
A rancher in Texas.
And you're selling that one?
Yep, that's the one I'm selling.
Okay.
It's it's a great story. They all have a story, every one of them.
Well, usually with that kind of age behind it, I'm sure they are. Yeah, I can definitely see.
These trucks could talk, man.
Definitely can see that. I definitely can see that.
But yeah, there's a lot of things going on right now. When you disappeared there for a second, I was telling our listeners, today's a big day for a lot of things, but one of them that's going on in North America on the business side of things is the conversation between our Canadian Prime Minister and your president. It'd be really good to hear the outcome of that meeting because that may take some pressure off both sides of the border. You there, Rico? Unfortunately, people are suffering on both sides. Businesses are suffering. The automotive industry has taken a huge hit. Farming industry is taking a hit. Everybody is, and we have to get this trade worked out because the tariffs aren't working out as well as they should. And with that, we're just going to wait for Rico for a sec. We're in some times that we aren't used to right now, and trucking always gets through them because nothing moves without a truck. So hang in there, ladies and gentlemen, and better days will come, but be realistic. We have to work hard. Keep your expenses down. Don't spend a dime unless you have to, but keep your maintenance up. That's really important. I've seen what happens to people that bypass maintenance, and it gets very expensive, and you won't win without having maintenance on your equipment, because what happens is you have to maintain it now or fix it later. And I've seen so many people go under from this. So don't, just telling our listeners to stay on their maintenance schedules during these times. I know that there is a tendency for people to cut maintenance, and I'm just warning them not to do it. It's the kiss of death.
Yeah, it's kind of tough right now trying to get it, keep all the plates spinning, so to speak. But definitely, I had some struggles yesterday. I had a blowout, and I was planning on putting a spare on the truck. I was like, well, I'll get to it. I kept putting it off, and
I saw that. So let me ask you a question. You replaced that tire with another super single, correct?
I did.
Rico was an early adapter. He did put super. I think you had them on your tractor too at one time, didn't you?
Had them on the tractor and the trailer.
And I think right now he's the last guy with them. So I bet you got a tire real cheap, right?
I got the tire fairly cheap. I still got some rims. I still got almost a full set of super single rims at the house that I don't know. I might be taking to see what I can get at the aluminum recycling place for.
I don't know. You know what, Rico? You're not running them on the tractor anymore, are you?
No, I took them off the tractor. The thing with the super singles is that they do fine, and I neglected to. I'll just be a moment of transparency. I didn't stick my tires before I pulled out for the week. Normally I try to stick my tires stick all my tires, and I didn't do that yesterday. Got in a rush, and I believe that tire blew on me because it was underinflated. And the biggest issue with super singles is you have to make sure that the inflation, that they are properly inflated, because if you don't, they for whatever reason they can't. I don't know if it's just something specific with super singles, or if I don't know if I've ever experienced it so much with duals. But when that tire pressure is a little bit low and you're putting some miles on those tires, it just can't take that low pressure long. It'll that thing just. I'm looking in my mirror and I just started seeing it fly apart, and I just started trying to get on over to the shoulder of the road as quick as I could.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's an expense, and you can't. Nobody carries them with. So you're at the mercy of a tire guy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's difficult to find if you're gonna run recaps or anything like that. It's difficult to find them, and a lot of times, depending on if you don't, especially on the road, if you don't have relationships with people, they're going to tell you, well, we only got these brand new ones, and a brand new one is going to run you, if you're not prepared, a brand new one's going to run you over $1,000 just for the tire alone, and it can get expensive real quick.
When we looked at it, we have one truck that the guy that we bought it from one of our. No, the owner, it was an owner operator, sold his truck and he gave us a tire. The guy that bought his truck did not want super singles. So we took super singles off a company truck, put them on his truck. He gave us super singles. We tried it on one truck. We did not like it. The risk wasn't worth the savings.
Yeah, because you blow it, if you blow one, you're down for sure.
Yeah.
You can't really even limp it. And you have to be really, really careful. Yesterday, when I get in, I'm going to go and get one in better condition, swap that because it did. The rim hit the surface when it blew.
They usually do.
Of a little bit divot in it, and so yeah, I'm gonna swap it out. For one that's in a little bit better condition. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I salute you.
And the reason, of course, was out there on both for a little while, I was really on getting used great condition, no thing. They were just pull-offs, and I had tire shops in the area. I pick up, like I say, a brand new Michelin dollars, and I was able to go find some at some of these tire places where they were doing pull-offs of them, and man, I could pick as little as $250.
Well, you know what? I think a lot of companies have felt the same thing. They're not using them, they pull them off, and they're not worth anything. So, you know what? You may, because of that, they may right now be economical for some of our listeners just for that reason alone. Because you're, you know.
I get pretty decent wear out of everything like that, but like I say, the issue is and I have to accept some responsibility on that because I think it was just maybe just a little bit, and I didn't check them before I left out.
You know, if I was running them, I would have a tire inflation system. That's the perfect system.
I had one of those. I think I might have let it go. I might have left it in the truck. I used to have one of the top monitoring with the readout.
Yeah.
On all your time. It might have the reading run. Right now, I'm running the track and
we're breaking up a bit.
But Chuck, I'm looking at the time. We pushing up against it. Wanted to before we jump out. You want to leave anybody with?
Well, if anybody needs help with anything, please send me an email, chucksnow280@outlook.com, and I would be more than happy. I put your phone number on the email. I'll call you and I'll help you with whatever problem you have. If you've got a business problem, let me try to help you work it out. I've seen a lot of stuff in my day, and anything I can do to help our listeners. And with that, Rico, I'll let you back her in a hole for another week.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Ray. Appreciate your time and attention and hanging out with us for a little while. Would subscribe. It helps. Profitable. Keep it in between the mayonnaise, and we'll talk at the same time, same place next week. God bless you. Good night. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Catch you on the flip flop. God bless.